Hey, how you doing tonight?
Uh, running around like a chicken with his head cut off. I took the day off yesterday, so I'm so behind today. It's insane. I'm just like running all day trying to get caught up.
You just scrambled.
Yeah. So yesterday I took a day and I invited a podcaster to go fishing because the weather was going to be stellar, beautiful. So and he of course said yes. So we went. We fished all day. Came back, had supper, then we went and fished again till way after dark. When we came back and I had this bright idea I'm going to make. You remember when we had those really good bratwursts on the stick in the fire?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you know how when I cook, things tend to go wrong a little bit? Okay. So I'm thinking, well, we'll just do it on the gas fireplace. I get the buns, I get the mustard, I chop an onion up, and I get the sticks, and we start cooking. And these wieners of these bratwursts start turning this sooty, nasty black.
Oh no.
I mean, it was the weirdest thing. They were actually dripping. I've got to send you this. You got to stick it up. You have to.
Please don't tell me you ate them.
No, we didn't. No, could you imagine me throwing? I was starving, and yet I've got all this stuff ready, and these things are so nasty. So I'm going to send you this photo, and we're going to be talking about horror movies. This is a horror movie. These are absolutely the nastiest things. And we don't know what it was. It was like a mystery coating. You would think with what would you call it? Okay, here it is. I'm sending it. Should I send it by email?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. Okay, you got to see this. I was going to do this at a time, but gosh.
Yeah, I wonder if it was how it was burning. I don't know. That's
No,
like
it wasn't
totally...
burning. It wasn't burning. Okay, you got to see this because it's worth it. Oh, man. They were just, it was like a waxy, like if you took a black color crayon and melted it over a bratwurst, that's what you'd have. So in the meantime, so we're gonna have.
Oh, yeah, it looks like ink got...
No, it's worse. They didn't even show up that good in the picture. That was after like 20 seconds of those things being on the fire.
Yeah, it doesn't look very tasty.
No. Look at this. What? That was 20 seconds. Look at the black stuff that was like coming off on the plate even. And Dave's like, well, I'm holding mine away from the fire. So he did his on the left, and it still turned this sooty. Anyhow, so those are horror hot dogs. Horror hot dogs. Okay.
That could be a short film right there.
Yeah, horror hot dogs. It's the title. I'll produce it. I'll write it, and I'll make the props. Okay, so tonight we have kind of a treat. We're doing a special, a different show. We've got a whole bunch of, let's just say, crazy horror filmmakers, right? Would I be wrong?
Yeah.
Just people that are just nuts enough to go, I'm going to make a horror movie.
And do it. Actually do it.
And actually do it. And then enter it in a contest at the Fortean Times or the Fortean Film Fest in England. Which is one of the major film fests for these type of things. So anyhow, so we're going to have, I don't know how many, 4, 5, 6, 7 filmmakers on tonight, Alex. We don't even know.
We got 6 groups of people coming through here.
Not groups. What do you mean groups? What do you mean by group? You mean people, individuals? Or no?
They're mostly individuals, yeah. Okay, there's a couple duos.
Oh, well, that's not really a group, a duo.
Okay, this is a 3 group.
Are we doing them all at once, or are we doing them one at a time?
One at a time.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going to do like the big Zoom meeting.
Like 10
Brady
people.
Bunch style? Yeah, the Brady Bunch style. You know, you have all 50 of them up there at once. Okay, never mind. So we're just going to talk a little bit about horror movies, and we're going to bring the organizers of the film fest on,
Yes, the co-founders.
the co-founders. Okay, so Alex, when do you think the first horror movie was filmed? What year? Don't Google it. Put your hands in the
20s.
air. Put your hands in the air so I can see. In the 20s? That's
Yeah,
your guess? 1896.
1896.
Yeah. It was a movie called see, my computer didn't shut down today, but then I didn't resize it. Okay. So it was called something about the devil. God, do you think I could read this? Well, it's the name is in French, and I don't want to try to translate, but it means the house of the devil. In 1896, and they were short films too. They were like 6 minutes. And then in 1897, the guy did another short film, and the guy is oh my God, there's just so much to try to figure. His name was George Mealy's. George Mealy. So he was the grandfather. All these people wouldn't be here if it wasn't for old George.
Is he still making films?
Oh yeah, he's like 200 years old. Yeah, he made the Halloween series. So anyhow, but I think the first true movie, like full length feature movie,
90 minutes plus.
Yeah, because there were silent ones, you know, those. Let's hear. Okay, hold on here. So it was. The next one was called A King. Next one was called The Cave of Demons.
Ooh.
Esmeralda. That was in 1905. All these can be watched, by the way, on Amazon Prime. So if you want to just have a really fun time, go to Amazon Prime. I'm sure they're free if you're a Prime member, and just type in these old movies. Then it was The Hunchback in 1909. The Love of the Hunchback in 1909 again. Frankenstein, we all know that name, 1910. Okay, and that was also a short. It was 16 minutes long.
16 minutes.
That was it. People didn't know. People thought kind of like you. You know, because remember you were telling me, oh, people don't want to sit through a 2-hour podcast. Remember?
Don't tell people that.
You know what I mean. Well, no,
yeah.
Some people don't. No, they want their podcast start and being over in 8 minutes. But that's not what we do. But anyhow, back then they just didn't know anybody would sit through a 2-hour movie or a 90-minute movie.
Yeah.
So anyhow, the first movie was then I gotta scroll down. Oh, I don't know what happened to my. It was 1920. It was called The Cabinet of Dr. Caligara. I can't even think of it. Can't say it. Caligara, and it was also George Mealy's that did that movie too. I think it was more of a.
That was prolific. Yeah,
I mean the information that I could get was pretty scattered. But anyhow. Well, what's your favorite all-time horror movie?
My favorite on the spot?
Yeah, on the spot.
Maybe like Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead. That's not a horror movie.
It's not a horror movie?
Isn't that a series?
You think of The Walking Dead?
No, isn't the Dawn of the Dead? Is that a movie?
Yeah, I think it's a movie.
I didn't know. Well, the scariest movie of all time was said to be The Exorcist, 1973.
Yeah, for the time.
Have you seen the original Exorcist?
No, I haven't.
Don't.
I've only seen parodies.
No, just don't, because it's that bad or that scary. I tell people don't watch it because it will mess with you.
Have you seen the whole thing?
Oh God, yeah. Of course, I went to the theater and saw it, and I was, I was a young, probably what? I'm not going to say how old I was. I was a teenager, and I saw it, and it was kind of like, I wish I wouldn't have seen it. It was bad. It really was. But there's been some really amazing like horror franchises, like Halloween, Friday the 13th. What are some of the other ones?
The Conjuring.
Was that a franchise?
I think it's part of like a universe, like in the
Nightmare on Elm Street was
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And those franchises, once they get a franchise, I mean,
they never die.
They make endless money and they continue. Yeah.
They're like zombies. You can't kill them.
Yeah. What point? Because they probably only come back once a year during Halloween. At what point are you going to kill it off? You never. But some of these new filmmakers might replace one. Because everybody starts somewhere.
Yes.
Everybody was just a nobody, an amateur at one point. Every single person. And you start, and then all of a sudden, you might get lucky, or it might be skill or creativity. Somebody will buy into your idea, and next thing you know, you're going off like Stephen King. Stephen King. Is it Stephen or Stephen?
I think it's Stephen.
Stephen King. Okay. Anyhow, I'm just looking here at my dumb notes. So what is it about scary movies that you like? I mean, why do you watch them?
They're the only movies I can watch at this age and not fall asleep.
Nice answer. That's good. That's good. Well, maybe you should revert back to those 16-minute films.
Yeah.
Yeah, the short ones on Amazon. Yeah. But there is some truth to that. Adrenaline keeps you up.
Oh yeah.
Because Uncle Joe, right? There's no way he can get through a movie.
No.
I went to the Sixth Sense with him and his wife.
Yeah.
I think it was that one or something like that years ago.
Bruce Willis.
Yeah, Bruce Willis. And I look over, sound asleep. Like, oh my God.
Then of course you wake him up at the end and he's like, oh, what do you think of it? It was great.
Yeah, I did mention. Yeah. It was great. It was great. Anyhow, what time is it? Yeah, I think we just let's get Tim and Matt on. And there's Tim, and there is Matthew.
Hello, guys. We got ourselves the co-founders of the Fortean Film Festival, and they're also film directors, writers, journalists in their own right.
Yeah.
You guys do everything.
Yeah.
Spinning plates.
Tim, so you had nothing to do with the film industry, nothing, right? You were in the medical world, correct?
That's right. Yeah, I used to watch a lot of TV, but yeah, apart from that, no. I kind of showed up out of nowhere, and Matt tucked me under his wing and taught me everything I know.
But only because you had an interest in it, in getting into the film industry.
Well, specifically, it wasn't so much the film industry. I had an interest in chasing monsters, and Matt had an interest in making a documentary about that. I was never going to be an on-screen personality. That wasn't my plan. But Matt put me to work in research. I knew I'd read so many books about the big cat thing. That was where it started, really. I kind of knew. I was like a bit of a walking encyclopedia on that, and Matt kind of just figured, well, might as well have this guy on board. He knows too much. But
you're missing my point. You're totally missing my point, Tim. Mm-hmm. You've totally missed my point. My point is, you're a medical guy who just was interested in movies. And
well, that's right. Yeah.
And you changed your life because of your interest.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, it's finding supportive people and getting an idea that's got legs under it, and it becomes its own beast.
Yeah,
it becomes its own beast.
Yeah, we had a really bad connection, Tim. You're talking, and then we're hearing you, and then we're seeing your body disappear into the black background.
Oh dear, technical issues at 1 a.m. It's probably the neighbors.
So, Matt, so did you go to film school at all, or did you just pick it up and learn?
No, I went to university. I did a 3-year course
Oh, okay.
which specialized in documentary. Didn't prepare me whatsoever for the industry like a lot of courses, and spent the last sort of 10 years as a ambition to be a content provider for TV. Although I do also have a passion, obviously, in horror movies and cryptozoology. And as you know, the festival has sort of categories that specialize in both and more.
Yep. Can you mute your mic, Tim, for a second? Oh, this is fun. The live.
Yeah,
There we
the
go.
live.
Yeah, I'm hearing something, just horrible noise coming over the mics. So you got interested in the film industry. You went to school, but many people don't. What are your thoughts on people that just suddenly decide, hey, I'm going to make a horror film and find somebody maybe like you or find a friend and just get it done anyhow? Because that happens a lot too, doesn't it?
I would say just go for it. I mean, like I said, university didn't really prepare me so much for the industry. You don't need to learn about like film cinema from back in the 1940s. It's kind of nice to know that, but it's more of an academia, not as a hands-on like filmmaking. The best thing you can do is just do it, you know,
Right.
get whatever camera you've got and just keep going at it, working with other people and trying to realize a vision. But you've got to keep going at it to improve. You won't improve unless you try, and that practical sort of hands-on is what.
Oh, I bet you, Matt, I bet you your microphone's rubbing on your shirt. Can you lean forward so your mic isn't rubbing on your shirt? This sounds horrible. There you go. That's your mic. Hold it up with your hands.
Sure. Is that better?
Yeah, much better. I was like hearing this scrapey. It sounds like a hamster trying to get through my wall.
Yeah.
No, it's the mic, Matt. You got to hold the mic.
I don't have a mic. I'm not even sure. It's my computer.
No, it's your mic. I can see it. It's on your shirt. It's
rubbing.
This? Yes, there you go.
That's okay. We can try. I'll hold that. See if it helps.
On now. See, that's a mic. Anyhow, so Tim, go ahead and tell us about the film festival and how many entrances you get, and people can start now making a horror movie, correct, for next year.
Yeah, we're going to reopen the next season pretty soon.
Oh, you got to unmute your mic. Tim, you got to unmute.
I wonder if it's not plugged in all the way. It sounds like you're underwater, Tim, when you're unmuted.
Yeah. Matt, do you want to just go ahead and tell us about the film festival?
Yeah, right. So we're in our second year. The festival's held in Gloucestershire. I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's sort of in southwest England. And as I said earlier, we specialize in things of a Fortean nature. So we'd have, like I said, horror, cryptozoology, paranormal investigation, and much more. And it's open to the whole world. And the whole premise of the festival is to help filmmakers. You know, we have a multi-tier award system. So it's not like there's just like one winner per category. We have a sort of a platinum, gold, bronze, and silver award based purely on a score, say out of 10. We feel like filmmakers actually get something for their work, because I know myself from submitting to a lot of film festivals, they just seem like a money grab. And I think a lot of festivals might not even necessarily watch your submission. They might have judged it from a log line or something like that, which is completely unfair. So we wanted to offer something for the filmmakers,
right?
You know, that was beneficial to them.
And how many entrants do you get per year?
That's a good question. Tim generally
I can chime in on that if my microphone's working. But it's about 300 this season, just shy of it.
Oh wow!
So it's quite a lot to process, and with a big jury, that kind of idea that many hands make light work, but still quite a lot of organising.
Well,
yeah.
okay, you guys are using a lot of terms. The people don't know. A jury. You mean judges? People that judge the films?
Sure. Yeah. So, to try and do the filmmakers justice, we have a broad jury. There's lots of different filmmakers who are on the jury, lots of different journalists, and lots of different paranormal personalities, really. So ghost hunters, people with an interest in cryptozoology, horror films, all of that sort of. So there's a really broad sort of spectrum of people that are on hand to sort of receive the film submissions,
right?
And help the filmmakers promote their work and signpost them on to where they can make useful contacts.
Great. And when is the cutoff date for submissions?
So we're closed at the moment. The actual live screenings are due to start not this weekend, the weekend after. So we've got a whole weekend of cinema screenings, and then following that, we'll announce the winners and then reopen for another season. So it's an annual event, and typically we've held events so far towards the end of summer, end of August, start of September. So it's going to be around that time again next year, hopefully, all being well. But depending on demand, we may make it more than once a year. We may look at that. But so far, I think one season in 12 months is enough for us to handle. I think.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
And we were actually, as you were telling me, Tim, we were looking at possibly moving the venue to Bodmin Jail in Cornwall, which is...
So that's something we're looking at. We haven't got any firm plans as yet, but we've made some pretty good contacts down there at the Paranormal team at Bodmin Jail. So it's an old English jail, prison, that's being now converted into a museum and a hotel, a luxury hotel, and they've got a really cool exhibit about the paranormal sort of history of the prison, and it's like an immersive sort of virtual reality with sort of projected sort of videos, and takes you back in time. It feels like back in old England. It's a really
but that wouldn't be important to somebody who's from the US. They're going to submit their film, correct?
Yeah, they'll submit their film.
And they don't have to be there. They don't have to go to the England.
Oh, absolutely not. No. Right. So we take international submissions, and we really we really look forward to that. That's where we get some of the best content actually is from the States. We've had some really cool submissions from Canada, but from every continent actually. It's not just the UK at all. It's
do you get people then that fly in from other countries to?
We haven't yet. I mean, we started up towards the tail end of the COVID pandemic, which was not the best time to perhaps start a film festival, but we would love that to be the case, to be able to fly in international guests and everything. Maybe next year we can.
Yeah, it'd be very cool. Well, who are we going to bring on first, Alex, for filmmaker or a group of filmmakers?
We got John Williams up next. I didn't know if we wanted to take a second. You guys are actually working on your own set of films. I've got some trailers to bring up.
Yeah, Alex, go ahead if you want.
Okay. Okay.
Wait for an answer from them. They're not going to give you one.
Oh, sorry.
So
Britain has a history of big cat sightings.
I believe that big cats could certainly survive in the woodland.
People often describe cats that sound somewhat unusual.
Some people suggest that some of the sightings are of hybrid individuals.
We have these disparate legends and mythologies that refer to these mysterious, powerful cats.
As he had the weapon, he loaded all the actual ammunition into the dike.
And that's when we took a call from a guy who said he'd released a big cat.
Came around the corner and there was a really, really large black cat. ribs are missing. There's the head.
The two types of tooth pit that we look for are made by the front canine teeth.
As a field naturalist, my job is to find the evidence these animals actually leave on the ground.
An animal, probably the size of a deer.
First saw the cat in 2008, which is when I filmed it.
Today we are being asked to take a look at John's animal paw castings.
Those footprints are definitely cat tracks.
This is great physical proof.
We don't have. Look, Alex. Yeah, we can stop it. Some of these we're not going to have time for the whole thing, but the genre that you guys judge is not just horror films. Some of it's documentaries about cryptozoology, Bigfoot, could be anything, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Ufology. We have the whole gamut of things, and it is factual content. Pilot TV shows, YouTube video podcasts.
Okay.
Everything is up for grabs. So yeah, it's not just the horror. We do a lot of sci-fi as well.
Very cool. I mean, that really is a wide book. But generally, if you're interested in horror movies, you're gonna like cryptozoology, and that. So, what was the name of that movie? That was Panthera, right?
Yeah, Panthera Britannia.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Now, are you guys ineligible for voting because you made the film?
Yeah, no, so we have a rule that jury members can submit their own work, but they're not allowed to judge their own work. It's got to be done by other jury members. Yeah, if they get caught out trying to bribe people, they get slapped on the wrist and kicked out. So we try and keep it fair.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and bring on our first guest, and we'll probably click you guys off, or if one of you want to stay just in the back room with your audio on, so we can, consult with you here and there, and you can bring you on and off. But so let's bring our first guest on, Alex.
Okay, cool. See you guys later.
Thanks, Tim and Matt. All right.
So we got with us director John Williams. He did Cryptozoology.
Hey, John.
And the film is a comedic mockumentary about a radical and village. Well, I can't talk. Church in the north of England. How's it going tonight, John?
Yeah, it's good, mate. It's really hot.
Yeah, I heard you guys are burning up over there.
Oh, I tell you, it goes above a certain temperature in England, and we all lose it.
Yeah. So
we're just never happy with the weather.
So the name of the movie is Tales of the Creepy.
No.
There you go. Creepy Death.
Tales of Creepy Death. It's sort of inspired by the Hammer films that I grew up watching in the 70s and 80s. Films such as The Legend of Hell House, Asylum. It was basically like an anthology film.
Okay.
4 short films with one story told them together.
Oh, okay. Well, let's play a clip and then we'll talk about it.
Cool.
One second here. There was a bit of a mix-up. I think I got one of your I got your other film that you did.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, it totally makes sense that we'd be talking about this one on this show. So tell us a little bit more about what inspired you for the film.
Well, basically, I grew up. The films I tend to make are from sort of past experiences, things that happened in my childhood, paranormal things like seeing UFOs and things like that. It sort of inspired me to make films about these things. Am I still here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. So, just checking I'm not talking to myself. So it just inspired me to make, films about these kind of the subjects I'm interested in. I tend to make films about them. So, yeah.
So I got the trailer. Let's take a look at it.
Okay, well, let's do that first.
Okay.
An explanation as to why I'm here would be lovely. All you have to do is to sit here with me until the hour of 3 a.m. and to make sure that I do not die.
So how do you expect to die?
I won't die. You're here. I have thousands of books here, and they all tell 1,000 stories. Would you like to hear one?
I've got a feeling you're going to tell me anyway, ain't you?
We've always told stories, tales to keep us up in the night. We store memories on paper so that they may never be forgotten. Have you ever wondered why we tell these tales? Are they just stories, or are they warnings for something more? Are you ready to begin?
Very cool.
Super cool.
Yeah, looks good. So, so you get this idea. How long did it take you from the idea to actually completing the film to where you felt it was ready to show people? How long?
I think it started off, I wanted to do a short film about, I don't know if you guys remember a few years back, people were hearing a strange noise in the sky, sort of like a loud rumbling sound.
Yeah. Yep.
So here in the UK, I know definitely in Canada and
Yep.
US as well.
The trumpets.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, people were saying, I think religious folk were saying it was the second coming. Some people were saying it was Armageddon. Whatever it was, I found it really interesting and fascinating. So I wanted to make a short film about that. But then I just started coming up with other ideas. I thought, it ended up being 4 separate short films and I didn't know which one to make. So I thought I'll do them all and then try and somehow link them all together, which I did in the end, obviously, with the Harold and Goose segment. So yeah, he ended up with one story that I originally meant to do, the UFO one, a Secret Society one and a werewolf one as well. So it's just how it happened.
So basically, you couldn't decide what short film you wanted to do, and you made a whole bunch of them, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's just how it happened. Like I say, I didn't do it on purpose. I just had a bunch of short films that I wanted to do. But the tricky part was to link them all together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So do they tie into one big story, or they're like just like is there like connecting pieces that tie in together loosely?
Yeah, sort of. That was the idea anyway. The tricky part was obviously linking them all together because, like I say, you've got one about a flying saucer effectively, and one about a werewolf. So linking them together is a little bit tricky. Do you know what I mean? But I think it works.
Somebody had mentioned in one of the questions whether you had any personal fear of any one category or any one creature.
Yeah, all of them.
All of them? They do scare you?
Yeah, well, I grew up in what you would call a haunted house. Okay, from a childhood. My dad used to do, we used to dabble in Ouija boards and things like that. But that's another story, So we grew up seeing a lot of things, saw UFOs when I was a child, saw all sorts of weird stuff when I was a kid. So I think it had an influence on me growing up. Because I think you get to a certain age where you sort of forget, you're trying to rationalise things, you try and sort of explain things away when you get older. I thought, yeah, maybe it was this, maybe it was that. But I sort of didn't do that. When I got to a certain age, I sort of stopped and thought, hang on, what was that all about? And I started to sort of process it through my mind, things that I saw, what you call evidence, So I think this sort of, the outpouring of this is coming in onto my films, I tend to sort of, it's almost like, what's the word I'm looking for? Closure, maybe.
because it helps you process all the dark things that you experienced in some way or another.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I always wonder too, because where's the starting point for, I don't know what kind of experience you've had. Have you had a long bit of experience in filmmaking, or is this?
No, it's I've only been doing this for about 5 years, but I've done about 5 feature films. I've done pretty much one a year, and I'm working on a period one set in 1940.
Oh, very cool.
Which is but yeah, about 5 years. But I've done about 5 features.
Okay, but at some point, John, you just started doing it. Did you go to film school? Did you?
Mate, I barely went to school. It was about, like I said, it was about 5 years ago. I just had the urge. I was like Tim. I used to work in the care. I worked in the NHS in England. I was doing that, and there was a point in my life where I just thought, okay, I've always wanted to do this. I've no idea how to do this. Like I said, I never went to film school, but I'll just do it. I just got a camera. I borrowed a camera. I didn't have a camera, and I set out. I just did it. That's what I'll say to any aspiring filmmakers out there who want to do films. Just do it. It's easy. You can do it on your phone these days. Just get a cheap camera, go out there and do it, and that's how you learn. That's how I learned. I didn't know the right way, the wrong way of doing things. I just did things my way, and that was that.
So the first movie you shot, the first film you did, what did it cost you to produce?
The first one I did a zombie film. It was a feature film. I thought the easiest thing I could possibly do was a zombie film because it's very forgiving. It wasn't Dawn of the Dead, I'll give you that. It was a very cheap and nasty film. It cost about £500 to make. Not sure what that is in dollars, but it's not a lot.
500. How did you go about doing that? I'm assuming you had to do a lot of location scouting and alter the script to make that work. And
yeah, I mean, I was actually in hospital when I wrote the script. It's still a long story, but yeah, when I wrote the script. So by the time I come out of the hospital, I had a script ready. But like I say, I didn't even know how to write a script. So the script was all, gobbledygook. Basically, it was just like a long story. So there wasn't really a script as such to go off. But I just got my friends, family, everybody I knew who could be extras in the film, who could play zombies, play characters in the films. So there was no proper actors in there, do you know what I mean? I did the special effects, I did the camera, I did everything pretty much there was to do, and that's how I learned how to do these things. But obviously, as you progress, you get better, and you get other people to do the jobs that you're not meant to do. For example, cameras, someone else to do the special effects. Yeah. So, yeah, it's good. I'm glad I learned these things.
Did you I guess were you when you got done with your first film, were you inspired to do more, or you have any second thoughts like
no.
For this, or I know I can do better? I mean, what kind of went through your mind when you got done with your first?
I think it's because by the end of the film, I knew so much more than when I started the film.
Okay.
And I sort of wish I could have done it again, but learn from the many mistakes that I would have made. So my first instinct was to do another one, but get better at it, So I straight away started on the Slayers, which is using red cameras, which is obviously the high-end cameras, using proper sound, proper special effects, proper actors, and just do it that way and just keep stepping up every single time.
What was the biggest thing you learned from your first one that you finished that you're like, I'm taking with me to everything else I do?
That's a good question. There was so many things. Every day was a learning curve. Every single day. I suppose managing your time. Because I'd sort of, I'm trying to organise a whole day of shooting here. And there's like 85 scenes. So I do 85 scenes. Running around, trying to do this, trying to do that, setting this up, and it was just a nightmare. straight away I thought, yeah, I'll probably want to do this different next time.
It's quite a thing to try to bite off for your first project as a
But I wanted something really difficult.
Yeah,
I could have done a short film, but I wanted to start somewhere difficult. Something that was really going to challenge me. This was basically my university course. By doing this film, I knew I was going to learn a lot. I knew I was going to make a lot of mistakes, but at the same time, I was going to learn a lot from doing this.
Do you have a scene picked out that you want to show of the movie? Is there another scene?
No.
I didn't know if you had done that. I think so. No. Correct, Alex? Some people have picked a scene.
Yeah. Well, for Strange Waters, we have a couple quick clips. But I wanted to ask. So the first one you did, what's the name of the first film?
The Mother Town.
The Mother Town.
It's not very good. It's like I say, I filmed pretty much the whole thing on my camera, but it did only cost £500, and I got over 1,000 extras to be involved, to be zombies. Cool. But the quality's poor, the sound's poor.
Well, how would you compare your newest short anthology with your first film? Is it way better?
Yeah, well, the anthology is a feature-length film, Tales of Creeping Death. It's vastly different. I mean, I'll give you a quick example of this, how different this is. On The Mother Town, there was a scene where a zombie gets his head chopped off. And it was basically me with a little pipe that I took from a fish tank with a syringe squirting blood. But on the new film, on Tales of Creeping Death, I got a chap named Gary Pollard, he was been in the industry for a long time. He's an English guy, but he built Yoda for one of the Star Wars films. He worked on films like Labyrinth, Aliens, all these films, Fifth Element, endless amount of films, but he agreed to get involved because he liked the script. And he's working on the next film with me as well. So yeah, little things like that, it's really good to pick these people up as you're going along,
Yeah, people don't realize that once you get into filmmaking, you do meet people, and you do meet people who want to help you and want to work with you, and that's really cool.
Definitely.
I mean, this guy sounds like he's worked on some incredible movies.
And it's really good because he's very humble.
Yeah.
When you talk to people like that, and I found that the more the better somebody is at what they do, the more humble they appear. They haven't got a chip on the shoulder. They're not talking about it.
You're not trying to prove anything.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Some people have made it in the industry by being super nice, and some people are always willing to, work with other people, newbies. So everybody should keep that in mind. If you do want to do, whether it's a doc or a horror film, don't be afraid to reach out to people. Correct?
Definitely. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm hoping to do. I want to do a Bigfoot documentary. It was going to be later this year, but I think it's going to be next year. And like a British perspective of Bigfoot, because I know I'm very much into the subject, by the way. But here in England, the sort of viewpoint we've got a Bigfoot. A lot of people, anyway, have got a Bigfoot. Is that it's nonsense. But that's easy to say if you live in a tower block in the centre of London.
Absolutely.
Because you're not out there, you're not living in the wilderness side of things.
You're disconnected.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I live sort of central Midlands area. There's places like Cannock Chase that are very, unbelievably active with all sorts of things. Paranormal.
Have you already okay? You want to do a Bigfoot doc, but you decided on your next film project, feature film project?
Yeah, I'm writing it at the moment. It's sort of a sci-fi horror. And it's all set in one big house. It's a place called Crew Hall. It's set in 1940.
Oh, okay.
It's an interesting time. But it's sort of dealing with quantum physics and things like that, time travel. But it's almost like, what's a film called? Event Horizon, if it was a Hammer film. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like a gothic version of Event Horizon, but in a house and not on a spaceship.
Yeah,
have you seen Event Horizon?
Yes, I have.
It's a great film. Yeah.
Yeah, or they basically start going kind of nutso and
Yeah, that's what it is.
So that film inspired.
No, not really. It's just when I
what have you been
started
compared
writing
to?
it, I was like, okay, yeah, that's sort of similarities. You know, obviously it's not set in the spaceship because there weren't so many spaceships around in
Absolutely,
1940, but it's that kind of thing.
So where do you get your inspiration from?
Like I say, things that have happened in my past, things I've seen, the shows that I watched, things like Monster Quest, all those years, just all these things I was brought up watching as a child, and the things that I obviously experiencing for myself. It has an effect on you. I mean, it's had an effect in a positive way when I wanted to sort of do these kind of things, the things I'm doing now.
So you seem to be completely driven by your passions, interests, and stuff that has happened to you. Have you ever felt the pressure to change the script or what you're doing to try to, appeal to a wider audience, or have you just completely left that in the dust?
No, I mean, you get it occasionally. People say, well, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do it that way. But the first thing I do is sort of look at what they're doing. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I tend to, because it's my thing, it's something personal. I'm sure you guys are the same. It's your thing, it's your person. I'm not going to come on your radio show and tell you, maybe you should do it this way, maybe you should do it that way. Because it's your thing. And it's my thing. I'm writing it. It's my thing. And I'll do it that way. I know it's probably a bad way to do things, but that's just the way it is.
Very cool. So I've got one last question. We probably better bring somebody new on here. Do you feel that horror movies and scary movies are going to be even bigger money makers and more mainstream as time goes on? Or do you think they're going to shrink and kind of die out again?
Well, I think they sort of did shrink and die out before sort of 90s, maybe. Not nowhere near as big as it is now. Because we went from being really big in the 70s, films like The Exorcist, as you mentioned earlier, or The Omen, which is my personal favourite horror film, to being nothing for a long time. Now it's sort of more franchise driven. So I think it'll be, because obviously do endless remakes of films as well. So I think it will get stronger before it dies out again. But I think these things happen, no doubt we'll be swamped with rom-coms in a couple of years' time.
Yeah. Well, the paranormal's hot right now.
It is, yeah.
You're hot. Oh, here's a question that people might wonder. Are you able to make your living yet doing this, or you're still a ways away?
Yeah, I do this for a living now. Because when I first started, I had a bit of a health scare. I had a brain tumor, actually. It was a benign one, so it was fine. But that gave me a few months off work. Okay. That's the first thing I thought was, we'll do something here to make a film. Every cloud. So I did. I made the film and I haven't looked back. So I've just gone at it full, both barrels. Before that, I was working 60, 70 hours a week and a really difficult job.
Oh, okay.
So I appreciate, I appreciate what I'm doing all the more. So I've really sort of not stopped, never looked back. So yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I do.
Very cool.
That's incredible.
Yeah, well, congratulations on doing this full time, and we wish you a ton of luck, and we'll be looking for your films in the future. Thanks, John. Thanks,
Alex.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thanks.
So next we're having on Rowena. She did Strange Waters. She's the producer and the writer.
Yep, and I think I've met
Hi,
Rowena. How are you?
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Good. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your film, and I figure we could play the trailer?
Yeah, that'd be great. So this is our debut film that we made last year. Was it last year? Yeah, it was last year. Called Strange Waters, which is set out on a sea fort, and is basically the tale of 4 strangers who kind of arrive for a gig that doesn't happen on this sea fort, and various events unfold, and they've got to survive until the morning. So
awesome.
So your movie takes place in one day.
It's an evening. Yeah, it's an evening. So it's
cool.
kind of real time.
Yeah, that's very cool. Okay, let's watch the trailer.
Oh, we'd be alright if the wind was in our sails. So we'd be alright if the wind was in our sails. So we'd be alright if the wind was in our sails. And we'll all hang on behind, and we'll roll the old.
Run!
Carry it along. We'll roll the old. Carry it along. We'll roll the old. Carry it along. And we'll all hang on behind, on behind.
Awesome.
I love the drip at the end.
Thank you.
That was perfect.
So the guy who sang the song actually is a guy called David Coffin, who's from sort of Portsmouth. And I looked at it and I thought, oh, this is great. It's like a local guy singing, but it was like Portsmouth, kind of, where's Portsmouth, Massachusetts, or wherever it is. But so he's an American guy, but he did the song on it. He's a great sort of baritone singer, but he does all these fantastic sort of traditional sort of maritime songs.
So, how long is your film?
It's just under 17 minutes, this
Okay.
film. So it's, yeah. In truth, it probably came out a little bit longer than we wanted, but when we put it all together, we thought, oh, we're going to go with it. We'll go for it a bit longer.
Well, here's the questions that a normal, just a person would have, because there are so many people I meet that are interested in getting into filmmaking.
Yeah.
One of the questions is, obviously, you make a short film, you're hoping to get recognition, to win some awards, but can you make any money on the film, or is that just for promotion of your talents and your skills?
It's a good question. I think with short films, it's that, honestly, they're not out there to make a lot of money with short films. It's quite difficult. There are some actually, saying that, I think there's a real market, and there's some there's like Film Ahoy, and there's a few ones which are now showing some shorts, because there's some really great shorts that are coming out. But I think it's really a showcase for what you're trying to do, and certainly for myself and the director, we wanted to kind of show our skill set, I think, as well. And we did this film, whether this works, I don't know. We kind of did it as almost like a teaser for a sort of feature. We had a sort of longer idea for a film, so we did this. But I think with shorts and making a profit, it's very difficult. You're trying to get the practice in and kind of showcase perhaps what you can do, I think.
Is this your first attempt?
It is, yes. Wow. It's our first attempt. Yeah, this is our debut film. So, but we've just actually shot another one a couple of months ago, and then we've got another one next month. So
that's crazy.
We're
but you realize how inspiring that is to people, to know that. I don't know what you did for a living. Maybe you want to tell the audience what you did.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've had a bit of an eclectic career, really. I didn't study film, so I've literally got into doing this in the last sort of 3 years. I had a corporate background, and then I ran an imaging company, so I suppose that was kind of similar, because it was a lot of photography stuff. But I really got into doing this because I did some stuff where I wrote for theatre, and ironically, with sort of lockdown, I suppose it opened up loads of opportunities. I worked with a group called Directors Cut in London, and we were doing theatre stuff. And because of lockdown and COVID, we obviously couldn't get to the theatre, and everybody started some little projects sort of doing films. So we made, I think we must have made sort of 4 or 5 short films with people filming their own parts in their own home, which is a bit sad, really. And I taught myself to edit during lockdown, and then I think we had a really fantastic group of people, and we all kind of gelled and we got on. So I think when we had the opportunity to make a film, we were kind of itching to do something, and also we wanted to do a project that was going to be a bit fun, really. Because we'd all been stuck inside for 2 years, so I think we were desperate to kind of get out and do something.
So what is it like then to go from doing something else, suddenly saying, hey, I want to do a film, you do the film, and now it's done? What does that feel like, to be able to watch it, show people?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic feeling to be able to, and I'm very privileged. You know, it's a huge team effort, really, to to get something off the ground. So, but it's it's doable. I think you've just kind of you can always make up excuses as to why you're not going to do something. So I think you've just got to, as John was saying before, you've got to get out there and do it, really, and it's just practice.
Have you met some really talented people that are going to you're going to continue to work with?
Do you know what? I've met some absolutely amazing people this year. It's been brilliant. So we've been kind of doing a bit of the festival circuit, but I've just been out there, and I'm always a bit cheeky, so I'll try and meet people and try and get as much information as I can. But I've met some brilliant directors and lots of people who've been incredibly helpful. So I think that's helped a lot.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. How long did this film take you from complete inception to being complete?
The inception part, not very long, because we wanted to film something that was I'm always like really inspired by locations. I kind of like dark, weird stuff anyway, and I saw this sea fort going across on the ferry one day, and I was like, oh my god, this would be a perfect place to kind of set a film. And I had a bit of a story that was going on, and I researched a lot of the fort, because I don't know if your viewers know, but there are these sea forts that are in the Solent. There's 4 of them, and they were built in sort of Victorian times as basically sort of to protect from the French. They're right in the middle of the sea, and this one had been a hotel, and it was kind of being decommissioned. So we the idea was to kind of do that. We got everybody get together fairly quickly because we knew everybody, and I got the script together quite quickly. So I think from script to filming, it was probably only a couple of months. I think the hardest bit I found was the post-production side, which to be honest, I didn't really know anything about at all. So that was a massive learning curve, learning how to grade it and just sort of doing the sound and things like that. So that took a bit longer to do. So that probably took a longer period of time because we were just exploring how we do that.
Yeah, but that's actually, I always thought the editing was the fun part. It's the less dangerous part because you can always make changes.
That's true.
But when you're done shooting, you're kind of done. You can't. It's pretty tough to go back and get all the actors.
Yeah, especially on a sea fort, you can't really go back.
Right.
It was a one-hit
Alex,
wonder.
do we have sea forts here in the U.S.? I don't think we do.
I don't think so.
I think that's
it's such a unique, high concept thing. I mean, I didn't know about them until your short film.
Wow. Okay.
So basically, a man-made island.
Yeah, I mean, and they are, they're like the perfect kind of setting for anything like this because they are really spooky. They're horrible, and the guy who ran it as a hotel, when we went over there, they were being sold, and they kind of left them to go to rack and ruin a bit. So it made it look all really kind of eerie. All the beds were kind of covered in this weird plastic, but it's got a downstairs as well, and it goes so the tunnels are actually down, down below the sea. They're horror. I don't know. I don't know if it's just they didn't actually see any kind of fighting on these forts. But there's just a horrible feeling on there. It's not nice, and they've got quite a lot of activity, and this one's supposed to have a ghost on there called Henry. But they're not sort of place that you'd want to probably spend overnight on your own, I don't think.
Well, there's something about the water and like lighthouses. There's been movies horror movies that have been made. Go ahead, Absolutely. Alex. I interrupted you.
I was gonna say, so the location you shot on was actually like it had been converted to a hotel in real life.
Yeah,
temporarily.
A bit like The Shining on a sea fort.
No, was it meant to be creepy? Was it meant for people that were into the paranormal?
They didn't have it as a creepy, but it wasn't supposed to be. But because the fact that it hadn't been a hotel, I think for a few months it had it was a bit run down. So that that's it. So. Very, very inspiring location. We couldn't, because of logistics, obviously getting everybody out there, we recreated some of the tunnels. So we shot that in another actually really haunted location. There's a place called the Ventnor Botanic Gardens, which used to be an old TB hospital, which they pulled down, a Victorian TB hospital. and they've got a massive network of tunnels under there, and so we were very lucky we got access to those, and they were horrible. They were really they were really spooky. So yeah, we spent a lot of it in kind of haunted locations for this shoot.
Well, what about the title? Who came up with the title, and how did you know that was the title? Because that's such a hard process to come up with, deciding on one name.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I'm a kind of writer, so I'm used to coming up with titles, I suppose. And I think we just sort of brainstormed a lot of names and some words that we quite liked, and it's got a bit of a double meaning when you watch the film. So yeah, I guess.
Yeah, that's.
And also finding a title is quite difficult that hasn't been used.
Yes.
That's always a bit of a challenge.
Me and Alex were trying to do that the other day, and it was
so
like
difficult.
Somebody has registered everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you come up and you think, oh my God, this is such a brilliant title. Oh no, that's gone.
But they've done it to be creepy. Most people have done it. They're just creepy. They've just taken the name hoping somebody like you will come along and say, can I buy that from you?
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
No.
Just put a "the" in front of it.
The Strange Waters.
Yeah, The Strange Waters. So, actors, how did you find them? Who were they? Did they have experience, or did you just?
Yeah, they did actually. Yeah, so the all these guys were from the theatre company group, but they'd been on Yinka has been on. He'd been on like I May Destroy You and a few things on the BBC. They've all been in sort of they're all professional actors. So yeah. So
is that a tip that somebody can do? Is to go to a local theater or a bigger theater?
Yeah, go and get. I think get people who are sort of professional. I think that always helps.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can go to kind of local colleges or whatever. You need to try and get a team really together of people that you trust, but you need every element to kind of work in the film. I mean, I don't know if we've kind of succeeded on that, but I purposely as well with the crew, I got a really experienced crew, so I went out and we found people who was great. They were all really brilliant. Really weirdly, we'd all gone to university together in the same year, which is really strange. Our director of photography and our editor. So I had I kind of, even though I'm quite new to it, and our director Andy was quite new to film directing, we had a sort of team around us who knew what they were doing. So,
did you talk them into doing this gratis, or did you have to pay them?
I'm afraid I had to pay them. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you try to talk? I mean, I would imagine that does happen, though. You can.
Do you know what we did pay them, and I think they probably would have done it for nothing because they were really keen to kind of get into drama. But I think it's one of those things as well. I think you need to pay people something because. Then you kind of get the best work out of people, and then when you're asking people to sort of give a bit more and go over and beyond, you don't feel so guilty because you're actually giving them something. So we kind of did this as we're trying to do it as a sort of professional setup, and pay people and get a kind of a good end product, I guess.
Well, that's a good tip. I like the way you said that. It's better to just pay them something.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
it hasn't got to be a huge amount, but I think if you've got some transaction between people, it helps.
Very cool. Alex, did you have anything here? I've got, I could go on all night, but go ahead.
Well, I love the title. I love the tagline. I love the high concept, the unique location. Someone who watches this is going to get something they've never seen before.
Oh, that's very kind. Somebody watched it actually, one of the film festivals, and they said, "Oh, it reminded us of Doctor Who." I thought, "Oh, yeah, maybe it does," because I've kind of brought up on Doctor Who, so maybe that kind of comes through in it. I don't know. But
everything we do in life is emulating things we see and hear. I mean, there are no real original ideas. We all build off other people's ideas on some level, even subconsciously.
That's true. Actually, maybe because the next film that we've just finished, called The Day of the Sundog, we actually had I don't know if you know, but Paul McGann, who's Doctor Who, I managed to get him in it. So one of the things from doing this film, everybody always automatically says with the actors, or who's in it. So I thought, right, the next one we're going to try and get somebody in it, and I just had the gall to just go and kind of ask him, and he thankfully liked the script, so we've got him in the next one.
So you have
congratulations.
So you have the actor from who played Doctor Who.
Yeah, so he's in my next one.
So who's in it? I get it.
Yeah, you took that literally.
Yeah, there was maybe that was in the subconscious of like who. Well, and also because I thought, I was thinking of it from I think Doctor Who's got loads of followers. So I thought if I make a film with somebody from Doctor Who in it, everyone's going to watch it because they've got loads of followers.
Now, can this be watched in the US? Your film, your short.
Which one? The one that we're just doing.
The Strange Waters.
Oh, Strange Waters. Yep, you can go to strangewaters.co.uk and you can have a watch of the full film on there. So that's out at the moment.
There you go. Very cool. So, who's next, Alex? Thank you so much, Rowena.
Thank you so much, Doug. Thank you, Alex.
Yep, and good luck with your film career.
Thank you very much.
So we got Jordan Thomas and Kyle. So they did Fact or Fiction, the Norfolk Sea Creature.
Oh, cool. And this is a factual doc, correct?
That's it, yeah.
I believe it is.
Completely factual. We reject any claims that our film is in fact a mockumentary.
Oh, okay. Well, let's do this, Jordan and Kyle.
Is that with a wink? You guys are smiling.
Yeah. Let's go ahead. You guys are trying not to laugh. Okay. Let's go ahead and just play the trailer, and then we'll have stuff to talk about.
Okay.
So stand by, guys.
1 second here. There we go.
We often go to Norfolk on holidays. We go to Scrap Bay. We stay in chalet in Scrap Bay. It's nice. We've been going there for donkey's years. Well, they're really nice anyway.
Rumours are rife in my family. I remember my father saying, beware of them stuff. They're really dodgy. There's people gone missing there, and there's grieving women on the shore. Just the boot come back.
It could be something, a creature, a monster that I believe to be something out there which is quite dangerous.
So with these two great eyes staring into my soul.
I don't know what it was, but I will find it.
Story or not, you've got to have your wits about you.
If I didn't know better, you guys are doing a mockumentary on Monster Quest.
In that way, definitely.
Yeah, no, that's great. So, were you guys filmmakers before this, or did you just say, hey, we're just going to do this and do an entry into the Fortean Film Fest, or is this something you guys have been doing for quite a while?
Yeah, so I've been making films for quite a while, just in terms of just everything. And Kyle, I normally roped into any film I ever made ever. So he was always like the actor that I always roped in. So literally we've just been making every single film ever since college, and doing it since college. And then just basically after lockdown, we just said, well, let's go make a film about the sea creature it's about. So in our sort of seaside Norfolk resort town. So then we went off and just filmed our film that way.
And to be honest, I didn't really have any interest in filmmaking before, but as soon as I just started helping out Jordan, I just kind of fell in love with it really and got involved.
Is this something you're going to keep doing, Kyle?
We're actually working on another film together right now, so yes.
Yeah.
And is the other one tied to this one? Am I correct to believe that?
It is, yes.
That's it, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Inspired by our own documentary. Sort of.
I love it.
Are you guys going to just keep doing the more of the comedy style, or do you have any interest in actually getting serious and looking into some, monster and something people are seeing or experiencing it and taking it serious?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'd love to do I think it's an idea of doing both things really, because obviously with this film, we're filming real interviews, but also we're adding our own made up interviews into it as well. So we are doing that kind of thing. But there's so many different things around where we live, East Anglia. There's so many different folk tales and all sorts of different legends and things. So yeah, there's so much scope that can be done with future entries in the series. So yeah.
But I think we also suspect that the comedy will also find a place in anything we make, really, as well.
Yeah,
we just can't help ourselves, really.
Yeah, we literally, every time that we're making anything, we just can't help but put comedy into it somewhere or other.
So what are your plans for this film, fact or fictional, the Norfolk sea creature? So what are your plans? What are you going to do with it?
So it's currently online. People can watch it online, and we just want to it's really interesting because it's kind of like promoting our next film more than anything. So because we were inspired by everyone we spoke to during making the fact or fiction, and all the different stories, and we were inspired to make a horror movie from that about the Norfolk sea creature, which is called The Creature from Scroby Sands. So we're so inspired that basically this is our the whole film's a trailer essentially, in terms of it's market material essentially, which is fascinating really, because it was never supposed to be that big, was it, Kyle?
No, not really. I think we talked about making like a 5-minute very serious kind of fake documentary, and then it kind of evolved as we made it organically. And we're actually we just filmed another scene that we're going to add to Fact or Fiction as well, kind of a director's cut version. And yeah, we're really fond of this scene. We think it kind of completes the film almost.
Very cool. How much money do you guys have invested in equipment? And then how much do you have in your movie? Well, let's talk about equipment first.
Yeah.
To get into filmmaking, what do you think the minimum investment would be?
We'd definitely be the people to ask, because we're very much on the kind of shoestring level budget.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Good. Well, give us some idea. How much money does a person have to spend to get into filmmaking?
So I'm basically, because I'm buy all the equipment. You've got your camera, your DSLR camera, which I film on a DSLR camera. I've that's a 90D, a Canon 90D, because I just think the colours on Canon are so nice. So that's £1,000. I don't know how much that equates to US dollars.
Alex, can you look that up?
Yeah, that's £1,000.
£1,000 to US, yeah.
And then you've got an external microphone. We just use one that we got for £200. And then after that, we just literally just make everything we make is on literally no budget, next to nothing. I think Fact or Fiction, we use mainly people who I know and Carl knows. And obviously we just interview real people as well. That's the best thing about making a documentary, though, is that it is easy to just make a documentary. You can make a documentary so easy, but actually with a film, that's where it gets more difficult, because then you've got proper actors and everything else. Yeah. With a documentary, you can just turn up with a camera and microphone and off you go.
Sure.
In terms of equipment, it's just me, you, and a camera and a microphone, isn't it? Really.
That's actually it, isn't it? Yeah.
And sometimes 2 lights as well.
So you have that answer, Alex? I see you're muted.
Yeah, it's like about $1,200.
I mean, that's about what a vacation would cost a couple to take. So if you give up one vacation, you become filmmakers.
So you can either go to Disneyland or do your passion.
You can. The thing is that you can film on these days. You can film on anything, and as long as you've got the story or the idea, as long as that's strong enough, then the way you present that shouldn't really matter. I think.
because I mean, the smartphones now are getting incredible.
Yeah.
I literally know a filmmaker who I've worked with for over 30 years who said, I'm selling all of my gear and I'm just going to use my smartphone.
Yeah, wow.
Wow.
Incredible. That's how people are, that's how
scary.
it's going. Yeah.
It's scary for people like me because I've still got cameras that cost $80,000.
Oh, right.
And he
Yeah.
he essentially has made all of my equipment worthless by
Wow.
just that statement, just the statement of saying, I'm getting rid of everything. I'm just going to use my iPhone.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what they call people that are photographers that use their iPhones?
No.
And nothing else?
No.
No, what?
iPhoneographers.
iPhoneographers. Very,
Wow.
very, very good, Alex.
I didn't make that up, by the way.
IPhoneographers.
It sounds made up.
Yeah, that's cool. But no, they do an amazing job. And like Jordan said, it's about the storytelling. It's about
Absolutely.
and then how you tell it. It's so much as content. I was at I think it was the big NAPTI convention, and there's all the filmmakers there from all over the world in Vegas, and I'm standing in this long line to get our badges, and they had a monitor up on the wall, and the monitor was showing a baby that was getting kidnapped. It was surveillance footage of a baby being kidnapped. And every eye was glued to that monitor of all these filmmakers because it was content of what they were seeing. It wasn't anything to do with the quality or anything. It was just the content. So content was king.
Definitely.
That was a lesson for me.
Yeah, no, really good. Analogy. I like it.
So we have $1,000 and too much. Did you guys have too much time in your hands? Is that why you took this on, or did you have to sacrifice? Did you have to sacrifice family and
yeah, definitely
kids and stuff to do this film?
I mean, I think with factual fiction, not so much because we could just kind of pick up here and there. Are you free this weekend? Yeah, let's film, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, one evening a week we're going to interview somebody.
Gotcha.
But with the current film that we're making, The Creature from Scroby Sands, that has been quite difficult. I think we could even almost say it's in production hell at the moment. Just getting, because we've got 4 main characters in that, and it's just getting their schedules to line up because we can't afford to pay any of them. So it's just kind of, we have to work around their day jobs and our day jobs and things like that. And it's really difficult. Yeah.
Well,
So
that's one of
group
the
shots?
Well, I was just going to say that's one of the nice things of doing an independent film. There's no deadline generally.
Yeah.
You can shoot a little bit, wait a little bit, edit it when you want to, whatever. You don't have a deadline.
Yeah.
Which is really awesome. So, Kyle, how did you get? I mean, he roped you into this? Jordan roped you?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I just kind of. I mean, I don't really know how it happened. It was just one day I woke up and thought, "Oh, I'm making a film." I'm like, okay.
So he just called you up one day.
We've always kind of stayed in touch. We went to school together, and when he was in college studying film, he would, if he needed an actor, he would get me to kind of play a role. And I'm not an actor either, by the way. I've never had any intention of being that, but it's just kind of an extra person to help out. And then, he I don't know how the idea came about. We just started talking about a creature, and we thought it would just work. I think we were very much inspired by our location more than anything, because we just love Norfolk and we just want to see it on camera. And we just thought, a sea creature movie.
We've heard that now twice, Alex.
It works.
People inspired by a location.
Yeah.
Second time we've heard that tonight. That's cool. So are you? So I guess, what are your plans, Jordan, for your future? You're a young guy. You got your whole life ahead of you. What are you going to do with filmmaking? What are your plans? What are your goals? What are your dreams?
So the idea is I would love to continue making factual fiction as a series, in terms of the different things that we can focus on, the paranormal, anything, because I love the idea of just ripping off these vague kind of things, these vague shows, like these vague, the type of paranormal type shows, and you never like with our film, you never really see any substantial evidence or anything like that, and I just find them hilarious. And then just carry on making the horror films as well. I really love the horror genre, but I love the horror comedy genre, I think. So just mainly, the idea is to make more horror films. Our film Creature from Scroby Sands, I want to release that this year, which we are nearly finished, but yeah, to get everyone to line up is quite difficult. So then after that, just carry on making films, whatever we can think of, really. As much as on a shoestring budget as possible.
Yeah,
which is what we do.
So your goal is to do this full time, obviously. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just that I'm so inspired by there was a quote that Quentin Tarantino said, just basically, whatever you do, just go out and make a film all the time. As long as you're making films, you're making films. I'm very much paraphrasing that quote, but it's basically the long gist of just keep making stuff.
Yeah,
and that's what it's all about.
Very cool. It's a very competitive business, but if you don't ask and you don't produce stuff and you don't pitch, it certainly isn't going to happen. But you don't even need the networks anymore to do a series. With YouTube and all the streaming services, you can have a hit series. You don't need the networks. You don't need somebody to give you the go. You just need the audience. You don't need some guy in New York to go, yeah, I really like that idea, Jordan. You can just do it. You can build it up slow and build an audience and do it. So it's so cool for me to see all these younger filmmakers just having those kind of opportunities. I never had any of those. In my day, there was no YouTube. There were no streaming services. You had to go to a network and you were at the mercy of their decision,
That's it.
And everything has changed. But I'm really happy that, one, we have so many forms of entertainment right now, that we can go and watch, what we want, when we want to watch it. It's very cool. So, I don't know. So, what would you like to tell to inspire people to get out and do what you're doing?
Just whatever you've got, just use whatever you've got to make stuff. If you've got an idea, just literally just run with it and make it however you can, and you're only going to keep getting better and better as you go on. You keep, because we made factual fiction, and already I'm looking at thinking, this could be changed. We could change this. We could do this better next time. And so it's always a learning experience, which is great.
Yeah, it's a good title. Well, there was a show called Fact or Faked, I believe. With
I do know that. Is the guy from Star Trek in it?
Yeah. No, that was In Search Of. I worked a little bit on that show. It's called Fact or Faked, and that was with a guy named Ben, I think. I can't think of him.
Ben Hansen?
Ben Hansen, yeah, that's it. Yeah. But your show can be totally different than that. It was a super popular show, and Fact or Fiction is, I think, a better title. Because something doesn't have to be faked to be fiction. Does not have to be.
Yeah, that's literally the thing, and the idea is this, film all these different interviews and embellishing the truth a little bit in some of these faked interviews, but then interviewing real people on the street is just absolutely fascinates me. Because you'd see people, you'd ask people about, oh, have you heard about the Norfolk Sea creature? And someone would say yes, and I'm thinking, well, we've made this up. Like, how have you heard about this? So yeah, it's fascinating.
So who was the new guy, Alex, that played Spock in the new Star Trek series that worked for History Channel on the new In Search Of series? I can't think of his name. I don't know why I'm just trying to.
One second, you're talking about the actual reboot of the movie series?
Yeah, who played Spock?
Gosh, I gotta look it up. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I can picture in my head. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got dark hair, and that's all I can remember.
Zachary Quinto.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah. That's what I was thinking of. but he did a reboot of In Search Of. So, but don't let anything stop you guys. Just call your buddy Kyle, talk him into being an actor.
He's roped into everything. He's literally roped into everything we do.
See, you know what's going to happen to you, Jordan? Kyle's going to get discovered. Right? Some big movie. You're going to cast Kyle. Kyle's going to be a billionaire. And you're going to keep making small films, and then you're going to hate Kyle. I'm just kidding. I've heard of things like that happening. Yep, that's it. Zachary. Okay. It was just bugging me. But thanks, guys.
No, thank you. Thanks for having us on.
Yep. Who's next, Alex?
Thank you.
Let me check the docket. Thanks, guys, for coming on.
Thanks so much.
It looks like we got Jamie with they did Tea with the Reaper. Let me get him on here. He's in our back room. Thanks, guys, again. Hey, Jamie, how's it going? You made it.
Yes, we're here. I'm still here. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning, I think, here.
Yeah. What time is it? What time?
I think it's about 20 to 3.
Oh, nice. That's nice.
It's early. It's okay.
Hey, you look good. You're smiling just like last time we talked.
Yeah, well, this is it. I keep injecting myself, so the screen might rock now and again. How are you?
Good.
I've been watching you actually, so I know exactly how you are. I've been watching you for the last hour or so. So great. You're doing well. You're doing well.
So you're an actor, and I would say you're a producer too, correct?
Producer, right?
Yeah. I'm. I've just we've. There's 2 of us actually, so I will mention Ryan, who's actually watching from Greece, I think he is.
Yes.
So he's enjoying himself out there, so that's good. I'm under the pressure now. I'm on the spot. The spotlight's on me. But so our producer, we've just finished our second film, the feature film, and then we just got bored during lockdown basically, and we were twiddling the thumbs, and then we thought, well, let's put us time to some use, and we came up with this short film.
And your short film's really amazing.
Oh, do you think so? Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you.
Yeah, I think so. Let's play it quick, and then we'll come back to
absolutely
back to you, Jamie.
So here's the poster. We're gonna play the trailer.
My name's Don Cap, and I'm an amateur ghost hunter. I suppose it all changed when we found the Book of the Dead.
Are you all right? Gone, fiend!
He thinks we're cheated. Stole Jessica from the other side. And he wants her back. He's gonna have to say goodbye to his little girl.
We've been given a second chance. This is my daughter, Jessica.
And there you are.
There you go. See you with the Reaper.
The daughter really freaked me out.
Well, that's actually Ryan's, the guy who wrote it, who should be here. It's his daughter.
That's his daughter.
So it was a. See, this is the thing. We made it for next to nothing. I know a lot of the stories tonight have been about making things for next to nothing. So this really was the same. I think it cost us about £200 on makeup.
That's it.
But that was it. But I mean, don't get me wrong. There was a lot of effort that went into it from various people. You know, we just gave up the time for nothing. You know, Dave Hackney on the camera, and he brought his team along, and you know, we all together. I mean, there were so many people involved who just gave up the time for a few days. You know.
Jamie.
Well, go ahead, Alex. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, don't say you did it. You did it for nothing. Look what you guys ended up with.
Oh no, absolutely. You know, it's. Yeah, it was great because none of us really knew what we were going to come up with, really. You know, because there's 3 of us who work in our office. There's myself, Ryan, and Morgan, and we just kind of said, right, let's go off this weekend and write something, and then we'll bring them back on Monday, and whoever comes up with we'll have a vote. Do you know what I mean? And then we'll just do that. So that was the original plan. So we did it, and Ryan, being the writer, won the competition, and then so it was just a case of then just for the next month pulling a team of people together, and we've got a short film that's being enjoyed by people now. So it's wonderful, really. Yeah.
So what I was going to ask is, why does humor work so well with horror? How does that work?
I don't know. I mean, it's the problem with it is it's quite. I think as well as I understand it, it's a difficult sell. So I think this is certainly what we found when we were going to Cannes with our feature films for about 4 years running, and just not with the films themselves, but us just getting involved and meeting filmmakers and what have you. And I think that's something that kind of came out of that. We're meeting other people who were making horror films and trying to push the comedy side of it as well. It was just a very difficult sell at the time. But I think this is what you were saying earlier as well to somebody else. I think these things work in cycles anyway. So just another thing that we picked up. I think sci-fi is something that people have been getting into since the Star Wars films possibly kicked off again. So it kind of knocked horror back a little bit, I think.
But you're gonna keep going. You're gonna keep making films, right, you guys?
Oh, hey, absolutely. I mean, we've been trying to push a feature film that we tried to get some funding through BFI actually, but weren't successful. But yeah, that's the first 2 feature films that we did were very supernatural, and quite serious horrors. And certainly Ryan, the writer, he's got a very good funny bone in him. And he gets comedy, so it made perfect sense really to head down that route. To be honest, that's what we're trying to do now with a lot of the other stuff that we're doing.
And how much money did you guys end up spending on your film?
I mean, going through the films, the first feature we did, we made for 20,000 English, so about 30,000 US. And then the second film we made for about between 150,000, so about 200,000 US. And then this short we've just made for just a couple of £100, really.
Wow.
So yeah, see, what I mean. But we're just trying to. The next feature that we want to do, we wanted to make for about $1 million, on the $1 million mark. And I think it's just been certainly right when Ryan and I have spoke about this. It's just about learning as we go. And just getting bigger as we go. The bigger the projects get bigger, which is easier in some ways than others. When we first started, it was just Ryan and I really that were just running into walls by the end of the film, just because you're doing everything, and that's what the beauty of money does. It just opens it up, and you can concentrate on your job. And have just experienced, skilled people in the roles where they need to be, yeah.
Well, tell us a funny story that happened during filming, or just something that was maybe not so funny. I don't know.
Well, the breakdowns that me and Ryan had during the films, they weren't so funny. No, but joking aside, but. No, but it did get pretty serious, but we've got over it now. We mended, as you can tell.
Are you saying you guys had like little spiffs?
What's that?
Creative differences?
No, not really. We think alike. Ryan takes the lead on the writing. It's his skill anyway. It's never been my skill. I've always struggled to finish anything I've started. So, but that's again a skill in writing. I think it's the difficult bit. It's finishing the bloody thing. But no, I think we work very well together, Ryan and I. Anyway, so we've known each other a long time. We were both jobbing actors at the very beginning before we started our media company together. So we've kind of learned both sides of the camera as well, which was I think important when we got into making this first film. Knowing actors, and because that was a big expense that we could get around because we just pulled in favors from friends. But I think that's what this game's about anyway. Certainly when you're first starting.
How many years have you been involved in the film industry?
Well, as an actor, I got out of drama school in '98, and then bumped into Ryan along the way as an actor up to about 2007. Then we both had kids, or Ryan had kids first, and then I had kids shortly after, and it was just like, well, we've got to settle down and do something. So we put a media together, based in Huddersfield, called Bigfoot, and with the aim of it always being something that we wanted to do, making a film. So we set up this as if we were a production company making corporate video to make money, to get all the equipment together to go forward. And we managed, in fact, then the recession hit 2008, just as we started the company. So it was a battle. It's always been a battle. Yeah. And then it got to 15, where it was quite difficult money-wise in the UK. And Ryan and I, being the people we are, just went, we always take the risky end and risky route. We said, let's just go make a feature. That's what we're here for. So we put us families through hell, and nearly killed ourselves, and got the first film made, sold to America, Canada, Germany, South Asia. And then the second film now sold in 37 different countries. So it's, they're moving. It's great.
Do you have any clips or any titles you want to give?
Well, Demonize, the first film was Seizure, which actually, I actually like it better as a film than the second film. It's just raw. It's a raw film, Seizure. And that was about gangsters that get hold of this demon. They don't obviously know it is, but she's kind of coming out of herself as they're in this safe house. And it starts terrorizing them one by one and taking them out. So that was just a fun thing to do. The second film was a lot more structured, and a lot more went into the writing process and understanding film and how it worked. And I mean, I think Ryan's just come on leaps and bounds with what I've seen him just grow, and he's just finished writing a horror for stage now as well. So he's moving. He's doing great. Doing great.
Is everything you've done kind of in the comedy horror genre, or are you?
No, but I think we enjoy comedy. I mean, I grew up with comedies, John Candy's, Chevy Chase's, Steve Martin's, all them people. Just fantastic, funny people, and just Planes, Trains and Automobiles. Them type, John Hughes type films, that producer, and Uncle Bucks and all them. So that they were the films that I loved as a kid, and Only Fools and Horses over here. It's always the comedy stuff that I loved. And I know Ryan's a brilliant comedy performer, from starting off in pantomimes and just working through on tellings. He's just brilliant. It's slapstick type stuff. So it just makes perfect sense that that's the route that we really wanted to take. But we went down the horror route just really because it was a way of selling films quickly and getting that underground horror kind of group that would just take it on anyway and just love it for its rawness and its, because it wasn't, you could tell that, it suffered because of the budget, but that was, that didn't matter.
So
we're making a first film. Sorry.
It sounds like you guys really wanted to make films, period, and it was like film was a way. You saw that as the I don't want to say easy because that's a cop out, right? But it was the way forward that like this is attainable. If we do horror, there's a market for it. We can make it on a lower budget. Is that kind of what was going through your guys' heads?
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. I was absolutely the route because of the low, but we knew we could make a film low budget and sell it and try and sell it, and that was the aim. And always it's been the aim just to get as money back for what we spent. Certainly in the first
keep doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is one thing that people who get in this game to sell films, you've got to be so careful at this bottom end because you can make so many big mistakes that'll cost you a hell of a lot of money, and they're all out to the filmmaker's the last person to see any money, You're so far down the chain, and if you haven't got the representation, which costs money, for the second film, which was, as I say, 150,000 film, it might cost us £6,000 just to get the proper people in place to dish out their contracts, or we're investigating how much money's coming through you, and are you passing it on? Them kind of, because at our level we're screwed. We ain't got it. We can't chase these people. So you're just living on trust, which is dangerous.
Do we have any clips of any of their?
Yeah, Jamie did send the Demon Eye trailer. Did you want me to play that for you?
So the Demon Eye, yeah, great. I've not seen it for a while, so this is where you start noticing little mistakes and that you never saw when you edited it. But oh my God, look at that! Terrible. Go on, show us.
Tell me about the burning girl.
It's just folklore from the moors. A young weaver named Sally Pearson was woken in the night. She rose from her bed, grabbed her father's tools, and crafted a piece of tin into the shape of an eye. A demon eye. She said it spoke to her.
Saying what?
That a famine would gut the moors and its people would perish if they didn't turn their back on sin. What are you doing?
They're enchanting.
Full of demons.
The story is, you were out here hiking and then out of nowhere you see the ghost of the burning girl. We need a story, so welcome to Fake News.
Have you heard of the burning girl?
Who hasn't?
Where's she buried?
Oh, yeah, somewhere.
Did you see me in the bath?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Very good.
There you go.
There's a lot of special effects.
Well, it's cheap tricks, though. That's the other thing about horror, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's
of course.
Cheap tricks, but great mirrors. They work. They'll always work.
Yeah, but you guys are creative. Do you really think that some of the Hollywood movies could have been done for way cheaper if they would have been, more creative?
Yeah, but they're all. Yeah, I mean, it's.
Well, you see the budgets, 138 million or $200 million.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't comprehend that kind of money.
Well, give it. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying us, but give. Well, yeah, you know what? Give us some of that. We'll have a play, but you know what I mean. Get some of that money down to this end where it won't cost you much, and this is the great thing about this end. You have to figure things out rather than throwing money at it. You have to become creative, and you have to solve problems. Do you know what I mean? That's what half this battle is at this end.
How did you create the scene with the woman with the arms all twisted backwards and forwards?
Well, yeah, that was just filmed obviously different ways and green screen. It was our first taste of getting the head off of the green screen. But we had a great guy in Manchester that were doing his day job, and then in the evenings doing our effects. And I remember we had to send off things to, I can't remember where we were sending it to, but we were on deadlines to get things done, and we're waiting for this guy just to send us these finished things that I must have called him about 6 times a day. Is it ready? How are you getting on? So we were getting lots of that kind of stuff. But that's it. There were people, you were pulling at people who had worked 10-hour days already and wanted them to do another 4.
Yeah. That's a pretty creepy trailer.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it went down well. Yeah, you know what? When it first came out, I think it got over like 1 million views on it. And the company that had put it up, which was one of these trailer companies, all of a sudden just took it off. And it was like, oh no, nightmare, because it was fun just counting them up, really, you know, and seeing these things go crazy. So it was good, but I don't know where it went. I don't know. Still to this day, I don't know why they took it off, really. But there we go.
And I'm sorry, I believe you already said it, but how much, now that I've seen the trailer, because I'm blown away at, you know, how much you guys have done with such little budget. What was the budget for Demon Eye?
Yeah, the budget for Demon Eye was, I think in total it came to about £130,000. So what's that? $175,000 possibly.
Yeah, maybe back then. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did. Yeah, it was great. You know, we got. It's like the lady before me. I forget her name now. Do apologise. She was saying about you know, just making sure that we pay everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that I echo that really, and that's what we've always. It might not be a lot, but you know, we're all getting the same. Treat everybody the same. You can treat them badly, but just make sure you treat them the same.
So are you and Ryan at the point where you're doing this full time, or is it still part time?
Well, Ryan and I run a media company, so that's our, you know, day-to-day job, and we work with Morgan, who is involved with producing Reaper with us, but he runs another company, so we do media for him. So it's kind of, you know, we're all kind of connected in some way, and the short films just brought us closer together.
And that was the plan originally, correct? Right, to get into media and then use all the equipment and stuff to eventually do your own film?
We just keep building. It was just keep building and putting money in, you know. And me and Ryan took hits time after time, wage-wise, because we were, you know, buying bigger and better cameras. Then we learned that we don't need to buy cameras anymore. We just hire the cameras. You don't have to keep up. That's the best way of keeping up. Just hire them. If you want to stay up that, you know, getting you bigger and better.
Because of how technology keeps getting better, like the lenses. All
This
that
is it.
stuff. Yeah.
You think you've got the best, and then somebody's just got something a bit better the next week. So
That'd be frustrating.
Yeah. So just find what you like and just run with that. That's what you got to do. But yeah, that was it. Just keep growing, you know.
So what are some tips for somebody that wants to get into filmmaking?
Okay.
I want to hear the Jamie and Ryan tips.
The tips is what would be the tips? Just keep asking, you know, just keep asking, keep going, don't quit. You know, that's the main thing. And just when you look at a film overall, it's mind blowing what the work you have to do from start to finish. You know, so I think it's just a case of, when we learn going from 1 to 2, that just break it down, break each section down, and, you know, and the paperwork, do the paperwork as you go. You know, I know it's difficult, and you're tempted to throw it all at the end out, because if you do start in that process of selling your film, the first thing they'll ask you for is the paperwork. You know what I mean? So it's just these bits that you've got to, copyright. You know, these little things, just protect yourself. Put it in an envelope when you finished it. Send it yourself, stamped, you know, with a date on it from the post office. You're covered. You know, it's these little things like this that you've got to think about and protect yourself, because there's a lot of vultures out there. You know?
There are in this industry.
It's doing all the unsexy stuff that you want to push off.
The script, the script clearances, things like that. You know, if you're selling abroad or selling Netflix and all the rest of it, they want to know that everything in there, you can say it, or you can advertise it, or whatever. You know what I mean? So, because there can be a lot of comeback, and that's why a lot of Netflix people won't touch, you know, as just sending scripts and things like this, because it's just too much hassle. You know, they want it all checked and done right, and then they might let you through the door if you're connected to an agent or somebody similar, you know. So it's you know, but just go out and do it, enjoy it.
What percentage of your and Ryan's time do you feel like was spent doing all that stuff, the paperwork and getting the clearances and making sure
and
everything
getting the insurances and
Yeah, and well, we both battle trying to get to investors to try and raise the money. Ryan is, as I say, he's more on the script side of things anyway. He's the writer out of the two of us, so he spent a hell of a lot of time, and then would come into the office and smash his head against the wall in the office, and we'd both try and figure little bits of it out, or and just talk. And then he'd go off and do his thing. So he spent a lot of time doing that. As I say, we both wanted investment, and then I kind of took on the paperwork side, the account side of things, on the other side of it, really. So, and it's just staying on top, because that's something that doesn't go away. You think you've finished your film and it's gone, but there's still work that has to be done. Throughout the process, really, whether it's 5 to 7 years of selling of a film.
So you're the responsible one.
I don't know. I don't think that comes into play with us too, I'm afraid. There's no sense whatsoever. We're both daft, really daft. So, but it helps when times get hard. It's good to be daft,
Yeah. We got to meet Ryan. He was having fun in Greece.
Yeah, that's it. That's right. But hey, it's not the thing is, we love everybody, and we just want to be friends, and we want to be liked. So that's we don't do bad at that. I don't think. I think people generally like us.
You guys look like you're having fun. So
what else you got? You got to keep smiling.
Keep doing it.
There's a lot of dark out there. So you know what I mean. So we're very lucky to be sat here at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just chatting like we are. So it's, you know what I mean.
Well, either we're going to let you go to bed or get up and go make yourself breakfast. Something.
Hey, great.
I think we have one or two more.
Yep. We got James coming on.
Oh, cool.
So take care. Lovely to meet you both.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
James.
Jamie. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thanks, Ryan, too.
Bye-bye.
So James is one of the jury members. He's a podcaster, paranormal investigator, and we like to call him Mr. Perfect.
Oh, this is James, the world's shortest film career. Correct?
Can you hear us, James?
I don't think he can. I think we have technical problems.
Oh no.
I can't hear him either. See, now you know why he's had the world's shortest film career. Can you hear me? Wave if you can hear me, James. I can't even see him waving.
So James, maybe if you want to go to your settings, you could maybe change the audio where it's coming in and out of, or the speaker.
Yeah, go to your settings, hit the audio setting input.
Yeah, but then you can change what mic you're selected and what speaker if you can't hear us.
Yeah. I like James because I was giving him crap.
Well, he's totally decked out tonight. Look at that hat, the
Oh, my
background.
With the cheesy chromic background, yeah.
Can you hear?
Yes,
can
we
can
go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was telling everybody you had the world's shortest film career.
I did, yeah. So
James is the poster child for starting a film career and then going, no, screw this, too much work.
I thought it'd be really good to go into the forest. We got some emails about some paranormal activity going on in the forest where I lived. So first of all, I went out with a load of people, but they all chickened out. So it was just me on my own. I'll go anywhere where there's paranormal activity, regardless of what time at night or anywhere. So I went. We're doing a live streaming, and as I got into the forest, it was full of these drunk guys with chainsaws that were working there the night before. So I was trying to do this live stream. They were kind of like, they were freaked out by me being there. Said a load of language that you just can't broadcast live either. And
just slow down, slow the bus.
So you were live when this happened.
So let me just kind of re-up what you said. So you're gonna go make a film in the forest, and half your cast just like bailed on you because they were scared, and then you run into a bunch of chainsaw wielding maniacs in the forest.
Who are drunk and probably on other
You're
substances.
drunk in the middle of the night
with chainsaws.
Yeah.
Chainsaws.
And they were terrified because I was this guy just on my own walking through the forest. They were like, this guy.
Oh, you were the only one there?
Yeah.
So your whole crew just left. Okay.
Yeah.
and they hadn't even met the chainsaw people.
No. Didn't even get to even traveling there. They were just freaked out by this activity we were going to capture.
Okay.
So and then as I got past kind of chainsaw guys, as we got to the spot where all the activity is, the film cut out. So everyone like watching the live stream as well freaked out, thought I'd been killed, and that's where it began and end.
Well, you're obviously still alive.
Yeah, just
okay. So James is a filmmaker who's going to get into the documentary business. Goes out to a paranormal location in the forest. His crew gets scared and leaves. Don't even go because they're too freaked out. Then you run into chainsaw wielding drunks.
Yeah.
That almost cut you in half.
And then you said, screw this business. So,
yeah. No, the filmmaking stuff wasn't for me. Or someone else is going to be at the helm if we do it, definitely. I am planning on going into the Elm Grove, the most Pontefract, where the most violent poltergeist in the world. So I'm going to do a live stream there. Locked in by myself all night for charity as well.
And
so
that didn't work out?
Yeah, that's coming up. That's going to be good.
Oh, it's coming up. Oh, yeah. Are you going to film it? Is this your?
Going to live stream. It's going to be. It's going to be. If that was part one, I mean, it could get even worse. So we'll see. It's James.
Just so you know, live streaming doesn't count for filmmaking.
Oh, it would be entertaining. Trust me.
Entertaining, yes, but filmmaking, no.
No, I know there's a bit more to it than that.
Your filmmaking career is still over, James. Yeah. Still done. Still kaput.
He's doing a Blair Witch type thing, except it's real.
Can you put a failed graphic over his face right now, Alex? Can you do that? No, probably not. If I could, I would. I just go failed.
I was an extra on a multi-million-pound movie once and appeared in the film for 2 seconds, so that was good. It took a week to film as well.
So your acting career lasted 2 seconds.
Yeah. Oh. That's not the only thing that occurs with, but you know.
Oh my God! but you're running a podcast for the film fest, correct?
Yeah. So I do the Fortean News podcast, and we're partners with the Fortean Film Festival. I just saw it, and people got in touch with me last year, told me it was occurring, and obviously it was right up my street. So I went down as an audience member, was blown away by just what an amazing event. The atmosphere and everything was incredible. And kind of we stayed in touch with Tim, and just kind of put together about promoting it, trying to kind of get it out to my audience and try and get people there to see what an amazing thing it is. I'm a massive fan of the Fortean, and obviously a massive fan of films and movies as well. So it's just a brilliant event. So it's just fantastic to support it.
And can you see yourself right now?
I can see myself, yeah.
And how did you manage to make yourself look so bizarre?
I'm actually on holiday in Scotland, and
you're at a hotel or something.
Yeah, and my kids are like sleeping right behind me. So the one light.
I'm just looking at the lighting. It's like it's all wrong. Everything.
Yeah,
that's funny. Yeah, but it's funny. It's funny. Yeah, I'm just saying your luck is holding, James.
Thank you.
It's just holding.
I put it slightly underneath. I could speak, as if I'm kind of going up to heaven.
So what kind of stuff do you talk about on the podcast?
So I started the podcast as I was actually looking for a podcast that was just giving me everything that was Fortean within in the news. And there wasn't one. So I started one myself, not really expecting much to happen. I started kind of scouring the news every single day. I spent hours kind of looking at the news, and then I kind of put every news story together in a little segment, even like quantum physics papers as well, try and dissect them, put them into short kind of paragraph in layman's terms and then give it with some humor as well. And people like it, you know. My main listenership's in the USA, and they quite like the British sense of humor. And and we do interviews, and it's doing really well. I'm really pleased.
Well, that's cool. And you're also right now doing an instructional video on how not to do chroma key.
Yeah. It worked so well at home, didn't it, as well? I was you know, yeah.
James, before you completely disappear behind that that chroma key, can you show us your shirt? What is going on?
This is, yeah. Well, you see, what happened was I carried on wearing the clothes from the 90s and decided that one day it'll be in again. And finally, my days arrived. I'm cool again. So here we are.
Was I the one that called you Mr. Perfect?
Yeah, that's maybe if I sit back a bit, is that better?
No, yeah, it is better. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So I was the one that gave you that nickname, Mr. Perfect, correct?
Yeah, I don't know what's happened.
But Oliver said he's not so perfect now, is he?
No, Oliver should know.
Yeah. Oh my God, is he a friend of yours?
And that's my brother. He's over in the States.
He's your brother. Oh, that's right. I see the last name.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So can you tell us some of James, some of his other flaws there, Oliver, in the chat?
You could be here for a while.
So James, what's it like being a jury member? How many films have you watched so far?
I'll be honest, I haven't seen any of them. I'm going up today.
He's a failed judge.
I have to be honest in case you ask me about the films, but no, I'm just looking forward to it. My life has been so busy this year, being out and about. And,
so are you just going to say you watched them, but really didn't?
I'm just turning up for the glory. You know, I turn up as the VIP and sign autographs and sit back with popcorn. You know, that's not wrong.
So you're just there for the glory. You're not there for the actual judging. Okay.
No, it's I've just been so busy, and I didn't want to kind of do half a job. So when I've just kind of like tried to promote the festival, and really looking forward to just attending. You know, it's we're going to be interviewing the filmmakers on the night as well. So it should be a really good night. So it's it's exciting. But yeah, just so busy. I'm filming with Sky TV at the moment for a documentary completely separate to the paranormal, where I'm going to be singing. So that's going to be interesting.
You're going to be singing?
Yeah. So doing an opera for the World Cup for soccer.
What? No way. No way.
That's a lot of fun. So doing that at the moment, we're filming this weekend. But I'm a paranormal investigator as well. So
you just have fun all the time.
That is just me, just life, living life.
Constant fun. Do you wake up with that damn smile on your face? You go to bed with the smile on your face?
I don't sleep. I just stay awake and just do this.
Smile. So you're a professional smiler.
Yeah, even you know, I was a bit crazy when I was younger, and I used to even fight with a smile. So, yeah.
So you fight with it while you're smiling while you're fighting. Okay.
Yeah.
Were you smiling when you're being chased by a bunch of guys with chainsaws?
I was.
You were smiling, yeah.
That scared them even more, to be honest. They just got
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's good times.
So can you belt something out now? Can you sing?
I might wake the kids up.
Oh, well, we don't want to do that.
And then they might sing if we do. They're literally like right behind.
So the kids will wake up and start singing too.
Potentially, or screaming.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Could you sing quietly?
Oh, let me think. I can't remember the words. This is how bad I am. The only words I can remember are swear words of the songs. Let me think.
Oh my God.
I can't remember. My mind's gone blank.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Terrible. Yeah.
That was a good tease.
There goes your singing career.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's failed too now.
Everything's failed. My podcast will crash in a minute. We'll just have nothing.
Yeah, I'm waiting for your hat to fall off.
That's good though. Look at that. Look at that logo.
Is that your podcast logo?
Yeah, I drew it myself. As you can see, my drawing skills.
I drew it myself.
That's going to be the name of my design company.
Which is?
I drew it myself.
I drew it myself as the name of your design company.
It could be.
God, you're killing me there, James. Oh, I can't breathe. Oh, jeez.
It's seriously the Fortean Film Festival is just absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to go down. The cinema itself is Art Deco. It's just beautiful, and it's like a little community. So it's just a wonderful event.
And Tim and Matt are amazing to work with.
Yeah, really great guys. Tim's been on my show a couple of times just to talk about the festival and the strange kind of goings on that we have in our lives as well, which is it's been
some hardworking guys, no doubt.
Yeah, I want to know when Tim comes on my show that I suddenly get loads of hits by China. So what's the government there?
So Tim's been hacked, and he brings that on when he comes on your podcast. And the Chinese start hacking your podcast.
Yeah, he's upset the Chinese government somehow.
Huh.
Maybe there's a film that he's secretly working on that he hasn't told us about yet.
Are you being secret? Are you being serious?
Yeah, seriously. Every time he's on, I get loads of hits from China. Maybe they're the ones that are controlling the black cats. Who knows?
Oh my God. Oh.
Maybe they're robots.
Yeah. I have a few conspiracies about those. I've seen a black cat, by the way, when I was younger.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
But you didn't film it.
No, I didn't smile then either. If I'm honest, I backed away very quickly. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Do we have any more guests?
No, it's just James.
It's just James. He's winding up. He's kind of coming in from the rear and doing mop up. He's mopping up from the rear.
Yeah, Tim thought you should go last.
Yeah, he thought most people would know by now. So
well, I don't even know why the hell we have you on, James. Just some random guy that had a 2-second film career that failed, who smiles all the time, who draws his own logo because he can't afford to pay anybody.
Yep.
And he just smiles, and he's in a hotel room doing a podcast with his kids on the worst chroma key job I've ever seen.
And a jury member that hasn't watched one.
And a jury member of the film fest hasn't watched one film. That's beautiful. Way to go, Tim.
So what's James, what's your favorite poster? Have you seen any of the posters?
Right, I'm looking forward to the Reaper.
He didn't, Alex, he didn't even listen to your question.
My favorite poster?
Yeah, your favorite
I on the film poster. Like which one?
Yeah, your favorite film poster of the Fortean Film Festival.
Yeah, Team of the Reaper looks amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jamie that we just had on.
Yeah. And after meeting Ryan the other night on holiday in Greece, I'm looking.
Oh yes, it's right. You were with me when we met Ryan.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing the round 2. We'll be doing the after show interviews at the festival as well.
Oh, nice. So you'll meet him in person.
Yeah. I'll buy him a few drinks, I think.
I think he'll be buying you a few drinks.
I'll need him. Yeah. I think I'll need him after that day. It'll be.
I think it would be really a cool show to just keep trying that live stream. Go out in the woods and just see what happens, because it looks like just crazy crap is attracted to you.
Yeah, well, that's how I got into this. I even as a little kid, I had poltergeist activity continuously, and it started off like as a child with my parents I'd have an imaginary friend, but only in one house, and I'd play games and talk, and eventually my parents even heard when I was about 3 or 4 would hear the imaginary friend respond, talk back. Then poltergeist activity occurred. And it just kind of went from there. So I started kind of then trying to help other people that are having problems in their homes, which is how the kind of paranormal investigation.
What do you do for a living, James?
Various things. So I'm a youth worker.
What?
A youth worker.
Oh, youth worker. I thought you
Yeah.
said, never mind.
And I also lecture in about ADHD and neurodiversity.
Oh, okay.
And then all the paranormal stuff as well on top of that. So yeah.
And do you have ADHD?
I do, yeah. I have ADHD myself, yeah.
I could tell. It was
Yeah.
just a good way. I have it too, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, yeah. Most creative people do. It's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing, I think.
Yeah, yeah. It allows you to see different ways of responding, and to be able to stay up at 3:15 to do interviews is pretty good.
Oh my God! All right, everybody, we're gonna let Mr. Perfect go. Thank you so much, James. You made my whole day.
Good
Thank
meeting
you. And we're wrapping up.
I'm back. Sorry, I had my camera off. So say goodbye to everybody, James, and then we're going to sign off.
Good night, everyone. Take care. Thank you very much.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.